Hi friends, I'm Scott Giles and welcome to Power Talk, my podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I cover topics related to spirituality, hypno-coaching, and the hypnotic arts and sciences generally. If you want to know more about my professional work, check out my website, which I'll tag at the end of this video. Today I want to return to a familiar theme, the importance of living in the moment, often called mindfulness these days. Now, mindfulness is or can be a form of meditation. It can also be a mental state you maintain while doing other things. I do practice it and have studied it both in the Eastern and Western forms. It's got a long history. But most people don't know that mindfulness actually can be found even in ancient philosophy. Probably one of the greatest of the Stoic philosophers was Marcus Aurelius, once the Emperor of Rome. In his book, Meditations, he returns constantly to the theme of appreciating the moment. Now, Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations for his own benefit. The essays were, in fact, his personal journal. He never expected anyone else to read them. They were simply how he lived a self-reflective life. In his writings, he urged himself to stay mindful of the beautiful poetry of the world. Now, bear in mind that he was the emperor of the largest kingdom on earth during his lifetime, a man of functionally unlimited power and wealth. Yet, in the pages of his meditations, he spends time writing about the sound that wind makes as it moves over a field of ripe wheat. He recounts how wonderful it was to look upon lions in their cages and see their brows furrowed as he contemplated them. He recalls how fantastic a feeling it is to break open a warm loaf of freshly baked bread, to see the irregular crenellations in the loaf, to feel the heat, and to smell the wonderful aroma of fresh bread. Despite all of his troubles, and no world leader ever has an easy time, he would often pause to enjoy precious moments like this. Now, you've probably heard the Latin saying Carpe Dayam, or seize the day. This was originally penned by the Roman poet Horace to express his belief that we should all enjoy whatever in our lives we can enjoy and not get complacent or careless and fail to notice these things. The full quote is, "Seize the day, trusting as little as possible in the next one." The philosopher Seneca, in his book Moral Letters, would amplify this by saying that we each must seize what flees, because the beautiful things in experience are often fleeting, and if we don't pay attention to them, we fail to notice them and do not appreciate good things that we would otherwise enjoy. Now, I personally take a lot of comfort from this idea. When I was a young person, I was cautioned by my physicians that I shouldn't expect a long life. I have what is now called a metabolic syndrome. It runs in my family and I have it. In fact, I have it more severely than my father or uncle did. The syndrome causes a series of overlapping chronic medical problems which conspire together to shorten life. And in my case, I've got these problems worse than my father did. And I've got the whole list: cardiac issues, diabetes, gout, liver disease, and so on, along with a whole bunch of issues like migraine headaches that often go along with this syndrome. Fortunately for me, there are treatments now, and I do respond well to these treatments. For example, my blood pressure and cholesterol and blood sugar have been medically controlled since I was a college student. And I take good care of myself. I don't smoke or drink, and I run a scratch organic kitchen at my home. The upshot of this is that I'm beating the longevity expectations I had, and I'm quite happy about that. But for many years, I lived not knowing that that would be the case. So I learned to take pleasure in the good things that were before me in the moment. The taste of wonderful food. The appearance of a pretty woman. Hey, I'm married, not dead. The feel of a quality pen in my hand. I write exclusively with Mont Blanc pens. The pleasure of cooking with high-end and well-made cooking tools. Little things. But they make the moment beautiful. And I live for such moments of beauty. The poetry of the world, in Emperor Aurelius's terms, is something I consciously seek to enjoy. The German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche came up with a phrase that he thought captured a lot of the energy of this idea. He called it amor fati, or the love of fate. Nietzsche believed that if one were living well, one should be able to reflect on all the bad things that have happened and acknowledge that, although painful, harsh, or embarrassing, these things shaped us into the good people we are now. If we like who we are, then we must appreciate even the bad things because they helped create us as who we are today. Amor fati, the love of our fate. Because if our fate had been different, we wouldn't be who we are. Now, I like this philosophical notion of Nietzsche a lot, but he was no stranger to the idea of the poetry of the world either. He would write, "My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be other than it is, not in the future, not in the past, not in all eternity. Not merely to endure that which happens or necessity, but to love it." And that means you love each moment of your life, even the ones that may hurt. And the best way anyone has ever found to do that is the way Marcus Aurelius charted long ago. While you must appreciate your experience and learn from it, you also should take pleasure in the moments of grandeur and the quiet pleasures and good things that come your way. The scent of fresh bread, the magnificence of a lion with a furrowed brow. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject. I'd like to invite you to join me. It does help me if you let others know about my videos, so please like, share, and subscribe. And if I can be of help to you, don't hesitate to reach out through email, my website, or Patreon channel. Stay well and stay safe.